Hi, I'm Shannon Payne, independent Jamberry consultant. I wanted to talk to you today about preparing your nails before a manicure. Nail prep is the most important part of any manicure, but that's especially true when you're working with Jamberry nail wraps. So often we see cases where wraps don't last the 2 weeks that they're supposed to, and it's not because somebody's digging in the garden. It's because they didn't fully remove their cuticles, they had oil on their nails, or they just had something else going on when they were preparing their nails and they put the wraps on and they peel right off. It happens. But I'm going to walk you through my process because I've gotten wraps to last on my nails for up to 4 weeks, so I must be doing something right. And so I kind of like to start with soaking my nails. It softens up the cuticle, it releases any of that extra dirt and grime. Just because your nails look clean doesn't mean that they're completely clean. Believe me, I've put mine under a microscope before and they are kind of scary. So one of the easiest ways to complete this step is actually to do the dishes. Your roommates or husband will thank you for that because then they don't have to mess with it. And it does have the added benefit of softening up your hands. If you don't feel like doing the dishes, or if you already did do the dishes, or if you just want some pamper time, get yourself a little Tupperware bowl or Rubbermaid bowl. Fill it about halfway full with really hot water and add some soap. I just have Dawn blue dish liquid in here, which is actually the best grease cutter on the market, and so it actually works really well for removing the extra fat and oils from your nails. Now, I already soaked mine earlier, so I don't really need to demonstrate how to put your fingers in a bowl. I think we're all adults and we can figure that out. So the next thing you want to do is make sure that you've pushed back your cuticles. Don't trim them. Trimming them can open up your skin to bacteria. I had a dermatologist get really mad at me for cutting off my cuticles one time, so I'm going to pass that little tidbit on to you. We do sell cuticle remover on the Jamberry website or through your Jamberry consultant. Feel free to call me if you need some. That will dissolve it. It uses a very mild base, which is kind of like an acid, only it's the opposite end of the pH scale. It just goes through and breaks up those little bonds, that protein, and lets the cuticle rub off, which that's safe to use. Barring that, there's nothing wrong with just pushing them back. You just want to get them on your nail. A lot of people end up about a week into their manicure, their wraps start peeling up at the base, and the cuticle is the culprit. If you don't push that cuticle back all the way, or you don't make sure that you scraped everything off, and you'll notice that your cuticle is not always one layer. Mine are usually about 3. I get one layer back and there's more cuticle sitting there. Now, our cuticle pushers are made to be very gentle, and they're made for perfectly applying the Jamberry wrap. So sometimes you need something a little bit stronger to make sure you get that whole cuticle off. And so I like to use this little spatula. I'm not entirely sure what the actual name is. I'm not a nail tech. That's why I'm not allowed to apply your wraps for you. I can walk you through the process. But take the little metal cuticle pusher, cuticle spatula, and just go through and give it that extra little scrape. And you can see on that one how that little bit at the base is starting to peel back. Now, even though you shouldn't trim your cuticles off, you should trim off any kind of hangnails or excess pieces of nail that you have. The Jamberry application kit does come with a nice little nail clipper, but you can use any nail clippers, and when you're going to shape your nails, you want to trim off the corners so that you're not tearing your nail apart when you're filing. Once you get your cuticles fully trimmed back, it's important to use a buffer, and this happens to be a Jamberry buffer because it comes in the application kit and it's Jamberry, so you know it's good quality. Sometimes the area under the cuticle can be a different texture than the rest of the nail, and if you're like me and have ridged nails, sometimes that can impede the nail wrap from adhering properly. So you want to make sure you take the buffer. Now, you always buff from side to side, and make sure you're moving the buffer, not moving your nail on the buffer, because that can give you flat spots in your nail. If you have really ridged nails, I recommend putting a base coat. We have a great smoothing base coat that gives the perfect surface for Jamberry nail wraps to adhere to. My mother's actually missing part of her nail, and she can still wear wraps with the smoothing base coat because it fills in all of the gaps for her, which is absolutely wonderful. But you go ahead, buff it out, then you're going to want to file and shape. Again, Jamberry file, because you know it's good quality. My husband steals these constantly. I have to go around the house and collect them back so that I actually have them to do my nails. But when you're shaping your nails, it's okay to file side to side. When you're actually doing your wraps, make sure you're only filing vertically, because otherwise you can tear the wrap in the process. Try to limit your side to side motion, but if you're anything like me, your nails curl under and you're gonna have to do a little bit of side to side. Again, make sure you're moving the file and not your nail. The very last step of any nail prep for application is rubbing alcohol. Now, I like to use a little bottle because I'm less likely to spill the gigantic bottle from the store. And if anybody knows me, you know I'm pretty much likely to spill anything. So I have these little bitty bottles that I got from the Target dollar spot for a pack of 3. And I keep alcohol in one, and I actually keep dish soap in another. Jamberry also has the nail prep wipes. Now, these wipes are big. They're really big. And they're good for using if you and a friend are going to be doing them, or honestly, I use them a lot for parties. For day to day, unless you're not the type of person that keeps rubbing alcohol in the house, you can probably find an alternative. If you are using rubbing alcohol, get a little cotton disc, put a little bit of rubbing alcohol in the cotton disc, and rub it across the nail. Now make sure you get all the way back where we pushed back that cuticle, because that's where the most of the fats and oils are still going to be trapped on your nail. Because if you remember earlier when you soaked your nails, that cuticle was still there covering it. And the whole purpose of your cuticle is to distribute oils onto your nail. So that is going to be the oiliest part. Again, if you're having your wraps peel at the back, take a little bit of extra time with your nail prep. And believe me, 15 minutes of nail prep will increase the length of your manicure and decrease the amount of work you have to do to maintain it. I've had nail wraps last up to 4 weeks on my nails. Granted, they were grown out and only covering half of the nail by the end, but they were still there and looking great for 4 weeks. There are pictures on my Facebook page to prove it. So check me out, painlessmanny.facebook.com or painless.jamberrynails.net, and have a great day and enjoy your wraps.